Oh my goodness. Okay, so it is April 20th, and we are still springing in to all things true identity. Yes, we are springing into our true identity. Even when you got a little frizzy on the hair, okay? We're still springing into our true identity. And tonight, we're going to talk briefly about the fear of the Lord. And I literally wanted to show you and give you a quick how to guide when you're trying to look up a topic and trying to get a general sense of what it is. One of the tools I use is a Bible app, and I just put the title right into the search bar. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight is put that title right into the search bar and just walk through this topic with you, fear of God, right? To fear the Lord means to reverence and honor his name as the authority in your life. There's a in James chapter, I think it's 4:7. I think it's 4:7. Could be wrong, but it says submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. It's either 7 or 8. Oh my gosh, we've had this conversation here before. But it says, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. But let's talk about that first part when it says submit to God. It means submit to God. That means God is your Lord. He's the final say on everything. That means what he says goes, right? And you fear the Lord, you honor and reverence his name as the final authority on everything. All right, so we're going to look up the fear of the Lord. In other words, to reverence and honor the Lord and what that results in. Okay, the first verse that comes up is Proverbs 1:7. And I won't be surprised if many of the verses are in Proverbs because Proverbs really teaches us to, Proverbs teaches us principles for how to operate in life. And when you fear God as Lord, when you fear him, when you honor him, when you put him in his rightful position as Lord and submit to him, everything else flows from that. So here's a couple of things that Proverbs has to say about the fear of the Lord. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. In other words, when you want to now expand your mind and understand, um, whether it's a new principle or like, let's say, for example, if you just quickly scroll through Instagram, you will constantly find different people trying to teach you something, trying to hand you their new course, sign up for this, here's this, right? But this, what Proverbs is telling us is that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So if you want to know something, if you want insights into how to live life um, and operate in a confident space, this is what this is saying. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. If you want to operate in a space of knowing that you're doing the right thing, you start at the fear of the Lord. You start at reverencing the Lord as the Lord, putting him tip top. You ever hear anybody say, always put God first, always put God first? When I hear that advice, what that translates to me is honoring God as Lord in every area of life. Honoring God as Lord in every area of life. So it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And then the latter part of this verse, it says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So, knowledge, the expansion of the definition of knowledge according to this verse is wisdom and instruction. Wisdom and instruction. So instruction are those how-tos of life, the how-tos of life, right? And wisdom is putting it into practice, putting into practice the how-tos of life. That's Proverbs 1:7. All right, here's another one. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Okay, Proverbs 1:7 says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And then Psalm 111, verse 10, it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all have a good understanding have all that a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. So Proverbs 1:11 verse 10 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So when you want to grow in wisdom, the place to start is at fearing the Lord. The place to start is at honoring God as the Lord, the chiefest, the highest, and reverencing his name as the Lord. And it says that is the very beginning of wisdom. And this is a good understanding, right? A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. In other words, the fear of the Lord looks practically like doing God's commands, looks practically like obeying God. So that's what the fear of the Lord practically looks like. Let's go for one more. So far we got Proverbs 1:7, which says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So it shows you the antithesis, right? Like, as a fool, you won't submit to the knowledge of God, which is adhering to his instruction and listening to his caution, listening to his word of leadership. That's what it means to despise instruction or despise wisdom, listening to the caution of the Lord, the instruction of the Lord, the warning of the Lord, right? But to fear the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. That's Proverbs 1:7. Then Proverbs 1:11-10 says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I love this because it's basically telling us that the things that will give us the insights into living well start with fearing God, start with reverencing him as Lord, reverencing him as the one who is our rightful leader and Lord. Okay, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge of the whole. This is Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Okay, listen, let's go back to Instagram for a second. Every video that you scroll past on Instagram, they are wanting to trap you with a hook. And then once they got you with their hook, they want to tell you, like, okay, now here's what I'm selling, and here's how you can gain knowledge in this area, right? So ultimately, what God is telling us through his word is that you don't need Instagram. You don't need that new course. You don't need this next thing. You don't need this person's insight. What you need to do is get in your word and discover the fear of the Lord, because the fear of the Lord, the reverence of God, honoring God as Lord, as the Holy One, that's where you will expand your understanding, and that's where your knowledge will grow. That's what the scriptures here said. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So I want to encourage you today, if you feel like, man, I need to grow in wisdom, I need to grow in understanding, I need to expand my knowledge. Instead of getting that new course or signing up for that new thing, I want to encourage you to get in the word of God and choose to honor God as the Lord. Submit to him, reverence him. That's my encouragement for us today. Until next time, Be encouraged, believe God, and choose to fear his name. I'll see you again soon. The Lord is my shepherd.